Hello. Another episode of Author Promotion Show. I'm so happy every day I have this opportunity to express my excitement with new authors and best-selling authors. And this time I read Jessica Griesbach. I can't pronounce your.
It's Griesbach.
Oh yeah, Griesbach. Yeah,
Mhm.
Griesbach book, and I really enjoyed it. It was very emotional, very. I mean, she actually wrote it from her heart. Turning life into lemonade is her topic, and she actually talked about uh, different process of her life with health issue. She had some fertility health issue, and then after she overcome that one, she actually had to confront something else. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but she stayed strong, decisive, happy, and she started a new business in photography, and she's really successful in digital marketing. So when I see such a people, such a person, I get so excited, and I really wish to introduce her to you. Welcome to my show, Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here talking with you.
Yes. All right, Jessica, tell me about your book first, and what was your success factor overcoming adversity?
My success factor. Well, so I decided in the fall, I had an idea that came to me to write this book. And then I quickly tried to talk myself out of it because I had so many other things going on. But then the more I thought of it, the more I felt like it was a really positive and inspirational message for the time that we're in right now. I think a lot of people are struggling. And so it felt like the right time to do it. And then, kind of in the middle of the night, one night, I started having the words in my head. I woke up in the middle of the night and I had to start writing notes. It was funny. I was listening to one of your other podcasts, and she said she feels like there's a book inside everyone. And that's just kind of how it felt for me. It's like the book just started writing itself. Um, so I decided I was going to do it, and I set goals for myself. I wrote every day, and then I was able to publish it in January, and it's been a bestseller in 4 different categories in 2 countries. So it's really been exciting.
Yes, it was. Personally, I got very excited for you because I thought this book deserved a bestseller.
Oh, thank
And
you.
yeah, because the messages inside are so vibrant, and it really helps people overcome their fear, especially when they have health issues.
Mm.
And I just realized you, after health issues, after your surgeries, you went back on track again, running again, go for
I
hikes. Wow, how could you do this?
I did. I set a goal. Well, for those of you who don't know, I in the last 10 years, I've had 8 surgeries and a baby. And so I've had to work really hard to come back from that. And I had wanted to run a half marathon for 10 years. I set a goal 10 years ago, and then I all of these things kept happening. So in November, I ran my first half marathon, and I beat my time by an hour, which was amazing, the goal I set. And then 3 weeks later, I ran a second one. So it's very exciting. It was a big goal for me to meet.
So tell me exactly about your surgeries. How many surgeries you had? What kind of health issues you confronted, and especially for your fertility issue, if you can explain a little bit.
Sure. Um, and I don't know exactly what the fertility issue, what well I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and they suspected that I could have some fertility issues. And then I got pregnant fairly easily, but I had a miscarriage, and that was really, really difficult to go through. But I was able to get pregnant again, and I had my son. Before actually I got pregnant was the first kind of health issue that I faced. I decided to take up running, and I started to be in a lot of pain, and I didn't know why, but I was going to run my race, and so I kept running. And then after I ran the race, I went to the doctor, and they found out that I had kind of a it's not really congenital, but it's something that happens during growth where some extra bone formed on the bone in my hip joint. And so it had torn my cartilage, and it had torn my tendons, and so I had to have surgery for that. Then I had my son, and the same thing happened in the other hip. And when I got pregnant with my son, I got very, very sick. I was very nauseous all the time. I had really bad morning sickness, but it lasted the entire pregnancy. And after I had him, it kept happening. And so a couple of years after I had him, I had a really bad episode. I woke up in the middle of the night in really extreme abdominal pain. And I ended up being diagnosed with a congenital issue called intestinal malrotation. And that's where my intestines were in the wrong place, and they were twisting on themselves. So I had a big surgery in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Cleveland Clinic with a transplant surgeon, where he moved everything back into the right place as God intended. He calls it like rearranging your kitchen, like the furniture in your
Oh my
house.
goodness.
So, and then after that, I had my abdominal wall tore, so I had to have several hernia repairs. So it's kind of been almost a yearly thing, having surgery for me. But overall, I feel so much better, and it's really answered a lot of the questions I had my entire life, because I had issues and I was sick my whole life, but nobody could really pinpoint why.
So, what is your recommendation to people who have this kind of problem and they get so upset or disappointed? Because I see you had a fantastic life,
Mhm,
very successful. Even during your adversity and these health issues, you stayed strong.
mhm. Well, so I have done a lot of personal development through all of this, because it's very easy to fall into kind of despair when you're going through this stuff. It's kind of like, why me? I don't deserve this. I'm a good person, I don't want to go through all of this. And so I've worked a lot on mindset. I think um, that is really important. And what helps me is to reframe what I'm going through in a way that will help others. And this book is almost as much therapy for me as it is to help other people, because I feel like if I can use what I have been through to help others, then it has a purpose. And purpose is so much easier to handle than pointless, right? So if you're just going through a bunch of stuff and it doesn't mean anything, it's so much harder to get through than if you have a reason, you have a desire to help others from what your experiences are.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. Yesterday, no, it was yesterday, last week. Last week, I talked to one of those PTSD survivors, and she actually, right now, she helped others to go through their own PTSD. And she said, setting goals help you to keep going. Because if
Hmm.
you set goals, then you focus on those goals and keep going instead of just stuck and just thinking about your problem. But
Yeah.
when you have new things to learn or you have goals to reach, then you don't have time
Right. Yeah. You
to think
can't
about
focus on it.
yourself. Yes, yes.
I agree. I've been doing that as well, and that, like I was telling you with the running, that was one of my goals that I set, because I wanted to keep moving forward. It was really important for me. So I had goals for my family. I wanted for us to be more organized and, things like that. I have personal goals. With my photography, it's always been a dream of mine to have a gallery show. And so I booked a gallery show at an art gallery. For my physical, I, I have felt like my body has really knocked me down a lot. It felt like anytime I was making progress on something, it would just kind of set me back. And so with my running, I wanted to prove, no matter what, that I could reach this goal. I'd had it for 10 years and it was time to do it. And so I really kind of pursued it very quickly because I didn't want to give myself too much time, too much time. So yeah, I totally agree with that. And what I feel like is the ticket for goal setting and reaching your goals is to celebrate every small success. Every small success. If you didn't want to go out and exercise, but you did it anyway, then you should celebrate it. And then you cut yourself some slack when things don't go as planned. If you mess up one day, if you're tired and you don't exercise or you don't do something that you're wanting to do, then you're saying, well, I'll do it tomorrow, instead of bashing yourself or feeling bad about it, because that'll just stop you in your tracks.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah. You know what I do? Sometimes I have like too many things on my plate, and I say, oh, no, no, I'm not going to do this, But then, oh, I have to do it. So what should I do? Then I set weekly goals. It really helped me because sometimes when you have too many things on your plate, you never want to do any of them.
Yes. Yes.
Because when you start one task, then, oh, what about this one? It's better I start another one. So it's
Mm-hmm.
better you just focus on one task and
Mm-hmm.
then finish it if it's a bigger task. And then when you prioritize your task, it's much easier
Mm-hmm.
to do it all. And a great feeling of accomplishment as you did with your marathon. I
Mm-hmm.
know that's a great
Yeah.
feeling, isn't it?
It was huge. Yes, it was so huge. It was funny. I had a lot of people that came and supported me. And when I was about to cross the finish line, the guy who was announcing was like, "She's got a cheering section." But it was awesome. I ran across the finish line. I hugged my mom. I cried. I mean, it was such an amazing feeling. But like you were saying with the tasks, one thing I found that works is to have a big goal, which can feel really overwhelming, and then to kind of break it up into smaller goals. And then each day you can write down like a small piece that you want to work on or accomplish. And then it feels a lot less overwhelming or hard to accomplish. So that's what has helped me.
So how long did it take you finish your book? From the moment you start and from the moment you finish?
Um, well, I wrote my book in 6 weeks, and then I published it in, I think it was 3.5 months.
How,
So pretty
why is it?
fast.
No, 6 weeks, I understand, but why there was so much gap between publishing and writing?
Um, well, it was mostly in the editing, in the formatting. There was kind of some, um, it took a little bit longer with the editing, especially. And then with and it was mostly just because it was around the holidays. So
I see.
everybody was busy. Yeah, it was just a really busy time to try to do this. So it's makes it kind of even more exciting um, that I was able to get it done and published. I thought that was a really good timeline, but I did get pushed back a couple of weeks in the editing phase and then the formatting phase.
What was the most challenging part of publishing, the whole process, writing and publishing your book?
Um, the hardest part of writing my book was certain parts of my story, because my book is kind of half my story and then half the tips that I have learned that have helped me overcome. Um, And there were parts of my story, and it was interesting because it wasn't even the parts I thought would be the hardest. Um, it was kind of further along in my story when I felt like I was fixed and then something else would happen. That was the
Okay.
hardest part to get through when I was writing. And I had to kind of force myself to do it because I didn't want to. So that was the hardest part of that. And then the hardest part of the rest of it was probably getting the word out there, after it was published.
I follow you. For my first book, it took me 2 years to write it.
Oh, wow.
First book, because I don't know. I just I finish it and oh, I'm gonna add this chapter too, and then oh, it's better I edit this chapter. So it's
Mhm.
like a cycle,
Yeah.
endless writing. So
Yes.
at one point, I said I'm not perfect.
Mhm.
Nobody's perfect, so I don't need to just write it for another year.
Yeah.
It's better I finish it right now. I may continue it in another book. I think
Mhm.
that's a great strategy. If you have everything from the beginning, like all the chapters, everything is ready, what you're gonna write, then
Mhm.
it's much easier to go through different stages rather
Mhm.
than just editing, adding. Because I had another partner, she was my accountability partner in the same
Mhm.
group we are, and she was the same. She had the first book. That time I was talking to her, I was writing my second book, and for the first book, she was like hesitating for her chapters. And I
Mhm.
always check her, did you finish it? No, I'm going to go back to another chapter. I may add some other chapters here.
I did something that really resonated with me during the writing process was finished is better than perfection.
Exactly.
Um, so I did have to stop myself a couple of times too and be like, okay, you have to stop looking at this. And then someone else can look at it and tell you if it needs to be, better or added to or something like that. But yeah, you can nitpick it for sure.
Yeah, for the first book, you get very fussy
Mhm.
because I republished my first book and I edited again. That book was edited 2 times
Oh, wow.
because I was really fussy. Oh, it should be perfect. It should be blah blah blah. Even after the second round, when I sent it to review,
Mhm.
they said you have still some editing issues. I said, oh
Oh,
gosh.
no.
And I said, okay, no worries. It's not gonna be perfect. I've seen
Right.
a lot of books, even very famous books. Sometimes I see, oh, there are some typo there. There are some problem, yeah.
Mhm.
So there is no perfect. There is nothing in the world like perfect. So
Right.
that's why that holds you back for years. Because I had a friend. She actually had a uh, sister. She was fighting with cancer for a long time,
Mhm.
and they always talk about writing a book. And the sister died after. Yeah, she couldn't fight back. And then uh, I said, "You see, you shouldn't waste this time together for writing a book. At least she could. Uh, this book could remain from her, something
Right.
as a legacy."
Yeah.
So, but her sister says because she always said maybe another time, maybe when I feel better, maybe blah blah blah.
Right.
But there is no time,
Yep.
To my understanding, life is short, and there is no guarantee that you may
True.
see the next day, right? So that's
Yes.
why I'm very cautious about what I'm doing. I know it's too much work because I do multiple tasks together because I don't know
Right.
when I'm dying, right? So
Yeah.
that's why it's better if you have a book, write it, start writing, and don't try to be perfect.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. I actually wrote about that in my book, because I feel like that's a good, even it's a good thing to remember with writing, but it's a good thing to remember in everything. because we can't be perfect. We're humans. We're not machines, right? So you can strive to do well and to have a good life, but you're never going to be perfect. And if you strive to be perfect, then you're not going to be happy.
So what has been changed in your life after becoming a bestseller?
I don't know. It's pretty, I mean, it's the same. Well, so no, that's not true. So I, sorry, I remember. So I spent the last half of last year, we were in COVID. In the beginning, it was really difficult. We were all stuck at home. We didn't know what we were doing. And then I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to use this time. Like I have more time now than I have normally. So I'm going to use this. And that's, I wrote my book and I trained for half marathons and I did all of these things and I achieved all of my lifetime goals in 6 months. And then I got so excited and I celebrated. And then I was like, what do I do now? Um, and so I think what has changed for me is I want to kind of transition from achieving to experiencing and creating. So I would like to be, I just want to try new things. I want to maybe learn how to paint, or I'm going shark diving tomorrow. um, so I just want to kind of do some like bucket list things like that. And I think that will be exciting and like kind of an exciting change for a little while. I still will be working on my, promoting my book and working on my book and stuff like that. But I really want to kind of just do some cool things.
Learning new things, being creative as you do in photography, because I have
Mm-hmm.
the same experience. Uh, it help you feel accomplished,
Mm-hmm.
and then your brain improve your brain functionality. And when you create something, it feels great because
It
every
does.
day I do posters, create different things for my shows, interviews. It's kind of new excitement into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like kids, if they have a toy for the first time, they are very excited. The next
Yes.
day, they are not.
Yes.
They need something else. So this habitual feeling, we have it from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we are adults, again, that's with us.
Mm-hmm.
So shouldn't uh, forget that you are a child. You have a child inside, and this
Mm-hmm.
child needs nourishing, needs curiosity, and there
Yeah.
are lots of great things out there just to discover and enjoy your life.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm really excited about it. And I also feel like um, it helps you be more well-rounded and just to have more life experiences and things like that. And I think I also really want to focus on traveling close to home and seeing things. I feel like there's so many beautiful things right in our backyard and we don't even look. We So I really want to kind of discover more where I live and just be more curious and mindful um, of kind of the joys of every day, of where I live and work and all of that. So.
You know, that's funny. I remember something. When I was a kid, we had a big backyard, and I used to go to backyard and study, and it was very distractive because every time I discover something new, oh, I never seen this little animal or
Yeah,
something, these insects, or oh, look at this leaf. I
yeah,
never real. So it was really distractive. Everybody goes outside to study, but for
yeah.
me it was too many things. Like, even if you see that backyard every day,
Mm-hmm.
but if you go and sit there, sit on the grass, or sit on a bench in the backyard, you may see something you never realized, because there are so many things happening there.
Yes, so many things.
Different birds, different we used to have cats.
Mm-hmm.
inside the backyard, so many cats. And then we had birds, we had a lot of things. And so, oh my God, I never realized, oh, this is good. So I said, "Oh, if I continue studying like this, I'm going to fail. So it's better I go inside."
And then when you have time, go back out and see all the nature.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the point. When
Mhm.
when you are studying, you need some distraction.
Mhm.
And something that you just want to escape studying. That's the problem.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It's much easier to find other things that are interesting.
Yeah. All right. I actually see your website here. Um, this is your website,
Yes.
Turning Life into Lemonade. That's your book, right?
Yes.
Do
Mhm.
you have your book with you?
I do.
Oh, good. Yeah, Turning Life into Lemonade. I love the cover. Who
Thank
did it for you?
you.
Yourself?
No, Dan Agella from Cutting Edge Studios designed my cover. She
I
did an
love it.
amazing job.
Beautiful. Yes.
I know it is so exciting to hold it in my hands.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it has images inside,
It
a
does.
personal image, which I love it. Because it gets, when you put your images there, yeah, it feels very real, your book.
Mhm.
And I could see the trace of your heart there because
Oh,
you wrote it from your heart and you put so much effort there. And I love it. Love it.
thank you so much.
All right. Do you have any program or any freebie, anything for my audience?
I do on my website, I have some free resources, goal setting, which is one of the things we talked about today. And then I've actually found that journaling has helped me a lot. I journal every morning. And so I have a journal page too that you can use. You can just kind of print off copies that it has like a place for intentions and kind of planning out your day, things you're grateful for, because I think focusing on gratitude makes a huge difference in how you perceive the world.
Exactly.
So yeah, so those are under the free resources section on my website.
Because if you are grateful about what you have,
Mhm.
then you see what you have. Because
Yes.
you write what you have, sometimes we don't see it. And
Hmm.
then just focus on what we don't have.
Yep. It's
uh,
true. It's so
yeah,
easy to focus on what you don't have if you're not consciously looking for all of the great things that you do have.
yes. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here. I
you.
really, really enjoyed seeing you, even reading your book. That was my honor to read it and enjoy it.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Stay positive and continue your marathon again. Another accomplishment and
Yes.
another book probably from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Too. Please subscribe to Panta Calhoun Transition channel and order my book Naturally Conceived through Amazon. Thank you for watching.